It's the daily go-get-em-ism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are emotion do this thing. Left lane, no coasting. It's the Daily Go-Get-Emism show on this Hump Day Wednesday. I was born on a Wednesday. I don't know if y'all knew that, but I was. And so Wednesday is when we get it off and start doing our thing. And we have something really serious to talk about tonight. You know, it's not going to be all fun and games tonight because this is a situation that may be close to a lot of y'all, whether we're talking about a family member and especially if we're talking about a friend. Tonight, we're talking about being friends with somebody who is truly mentally ill. Being friends with somebody who is truly mentally ill. Have you ever done it? So it can be like losing a person to death while they're still alive when you're dealing with somebody that used to be cool, used to be all right, used to be, that was your buddy. But when I say they used to be all right, I mean that they used to be able to be normal like everybody else. And then you see them slipping into darkness. And it's like losing somebody who's still alive. You understand what I'm saying? Because they are phasing into a life, into a place that you can't go with them to. You know what I mean? And you may feel as a friend, a good friend, and as a family member or somebody who cares, you may feel obligated to try to handle that situation. And in all reality, supporting them is all that you can really do and try to get them the resources that they need in order to try to get it together. But there's really nothing that you can do. And it's a really powerless situation. And we also have to realize that in our powerlessness, we are also being selfish because we really may think that we can help it and we can fix it and we can do something about it. But in all reality, we're just fooling ourselves. That person has to be ready and willing and actually have to recognize that they have a problem in order for us to get anywhere off the ground when it comes to this whole mental illness thing. And I'm not talking about your crazy friends. I'm not just talking about your friends, your buddies that get high and do all kinds of silly shit, tear shit up or act a fool. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the type of mental illness that you can't turn off. The type that ain't cute no more because you honestly feel like if you laugh at them, you're not laughing with them and you're not laughing at something that's really funny because this is their reality, not your comedy show. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, my man? Serious Fix, my man Troy. What's going on, man? It's good to see me some you. Always a pleasure to see you coming through. And Stacy White holding it down for the D all day, every day. It's good to see me some you. Thanks for coming around the way. And T Carrie right morning, noon, and night. It's always good to have my peoples going in your sight. And Carol Chamber, let me favorita. You know I need ya. I'm glad you came on through. You know it's true. And my brother from another mother, Norris Hill. I said my brother from another mother, Norris Hill. Thanks for coming through, my brother. Thanks for coming on out. I got to give you a shout because you my man, no doubt. And Charlene Curry. Charlene Curry. What's going on, Charlene? How you feeling, Charlene? And my big sis, Robbie Ming. Always here to do the damn thing. She's a queen for a king. So yeah, being friends with somebody who is truly mentally ill. It's not a game. It's not a game, you know. And I mean, in the reality of the situation, you may have been in the situation. I know I have. It's personal to me. I've known. Well, with me, it's more than one person. But when it's somebody that you're close to, and somebody that has not been afflicted with this their whole lives, you know what I'm saying? It makes it a little bit more difficult because you know and you remember a time when they could do these things seamlessly. They may have even really been smart, bright, good in school, good students. And now you see it's like they may still be good students, but guess what? Their social skills are pew. Because we dealing with a beautiful mind right here. You know, you ever see that movie, A Beautiful Mind? She was crazy, literally. But in the movie A Beautiful Mind, he was a genius. He was a genius professor, a math genius. You do things with numbers that nobody ever saw before, all types of equations. But he was schizophrenic. And you know, when you're schizophrenic, you're also paranoid. It's that type of situation where you think that people are against you. It's a funny thing about schizophrenia. And schizophrenia is when you honestly believe that you are seeing images and people and things that aren't there. They're not visible to other people. Now, I've heard herbalists and naturopaths and people like that, spiritual people, say that there's no such thing as mental illness. There's no such thing as schizophrenia. They are just, I've heard people say that they are just blessed in a different way. They see things that you just can't see. And I'm looking at them like, so you're telling me that I'm dealing with two schizophrenic people? So either that, or I'm dealing with a schizophrenic person and a schizophrenic sympathizer. Okay, I can deal with that. The situation calls for what it calls for. It may cause for medication. Well, you know it's going to call for that, but it's going to call for a lifestyle change. Whatever you were doing before, however you got to the state that you are in, you're not going to be able to do the same things as you were doing before. You're in a different place in your world and in your life. So that's what we're talking about tonight on the Daily Go Getimism show. So let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this your daily, the Daily Go Getimism show. We do this every single day. Every day it rains. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the. And if you can't say Omar with the, but then you just say Omar with the R's, the Daily Go Getimism show all up in your area on this Hump Day Wednesday. Hump Day! Yeah! What day it is? Do you know what day? Yeah, it's Hump Day Wednesday. And we're talking about friends with someone who is truly mentally ill. At first, when you realize that somebody is slipping into darkness, you don't really be wanting to accept it. Like, no, they just tripping. Or we shouldn't have smoked that weed last night. Or, maybe you need to lay off the drinking. Or I hope they didn't go get high with somebody else who slipped them a little something. And we do know people who have lived that situation. We talked about it. What was it? Last week we talked about it. I think it was last week, right, Carol? We were talking about Monster. We were talking about that drug Monster, PCP, wet, angel dust. I don't know if y'all grew up with anybody or went to school with anybody that used to drop acid, but I did. I went to school with motherfuckers that took all kinds. In the 80s, people took all kinds of drugs. Teenagers was doing all kinds of crazy shit. Pills. I didn't take drugs, but I was around other people who took drugs, and it was serious shit. So I saw people who smoked something one time, like an angel dust, one time, and they never came back. Last year, I saw one of the people that I remember smoked angel dust. Well, this is what they said. They said that he smoked dust, and they said from then he was never the same. And I remember how he was before he started slipping into darkness. I remember how he was. He was a cool kid. He was a teenager. I was a little boy. I'm talking about little boy, like 6, 7, 8 years old. By the time I was 9 years old, My man wasn't right no more. My god brother who lived across the street used to take me everywhere with him. Well, at least it seemed like he took me everywhere with him. But he would take me. We would go to the bowling alley over in Cheltenham. Now, anybody who knows the Philadelphia area knows that Cheltenham Avenue separates West Oak Lane and Mount Airy from Cheltenham. It's another county on the other side of that street. So there was a bowling alley right there. What is that? What there's a bowling alley across the street, but on the Philly side, well, there's a bowling alley. There was a bowling alley across the street on the Cheltenham side. On the Philly side, there was a movie theater called the Earl Inn. I believe it was called the Earl Inn. Ain't that where the Earl Inn? The Earl Inn. So anyway, my big guy brother would take me bowling. He had a girlfriend who lived on the Cheltenham's side. We would go see her. He took me everywhere. And so he was the same age as my oldest sister. So they 7.5, 8 years older than me. So I knew all of their friends. So anybody that was in a circle a year or two apart or whatever, that would explain my man Al. And my man Al, well, it was actually his man Al, was cool with everybody. Al smoked that dust. 2-3 years later, Al don't take no baths, no showers. You know, he talking to himself all crazy. He's still getting high though. So whereas he was getting high with them, you know, just smoking weed, drinking wine and whatever they drunk back then. But somebody slipped Al. That's what they said. Somebody slipped Al some angel dust, and Al was never the same. And it's funny because everybody around the way still tried to treat Al like he was the same. He wasn't. It was visible. It was visible. I'm looking like Al ain't the same, y'all. He ain't the same. You don't smell Al? I smell Al. Al used to be like, you know, smile a lot. He used to be vibrant. Now Al is more like, You could see his eyes. You could see something else was going on in there. You understand what I'm saying? What's going on? Sucre, je toi. Sucre, JDX. And who is WEC 1979. What's going on? Thanks for coming on through. Appreciate it. And also Emily Dunlap in the house. I said it, Emily, without a doubt. Yeah, so Al was never the same. Last year, I saw Al. I hadn't seen Al in at least 30 years. I don't remember seeing Al since I moved from around the way. He used to live directly around the corner from I was like, yo, hold on. Because I know I'm buffering on the that was a long buffer. I know I was buffering on the YouTube side. Hopefully that's not going to be the story of the night tonight. But anyway, I saw Al, and first he didn't recognize me. Then I started bringing up. I was like, you lived on you and your peoples. Y'all lived on Hansberry Street, and you know you was friends with. I started naming people and all that. Al remembered every fucking thing. He was like, Omar, oh, you Shell's little brother. Oh, how's she doing? And your other sister, what was her name? Dita. He started running. I'm like, I was surprised that he could remember all of this shit because he was crazy. But see, he was crazy because of the drugs that he took that fucked him up. But he still had the presence of mind that he had before. So it almost kind of brought tears to my eyes. Like, damn. He was like, yeah. Oh, you know, can you help me out with a little something? Because I just came home. I was in jail for this amount of time and blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, damn, if he went to jail, it was probably because on some mental illness shit. And he was probably homeless because he seems to be homeless now. but he wasn't dirty and he wasn't crazy. Evidently, he had got the medication that he needed in order to be, in order to be functioning regular. This wasn't the same Al. This wasn't the Al that wasn't combing his hair no more. This wasn't the Al that was, malodorous. It wasn't that Al. It wasn't that Al who didn't care about how he dressed. He was just dressed to be outside. This wasn't him. So the medicine is, as much as I'm against many of the things in the pharmaceutical industry, especially when it comes to mental illness, I also had to take into consideration, if this was years ago, he would have been thrown in a mental hospital to be abused and treated like shit and be experimented on and all of that kind of crazy stuff. Crazy, no pun intended. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Carol Chamberlain, what she said, and Cherry, Cinderella, Dana Dane. Well, it's the woman Dana Dane with fame. What's going on, Cherry, Dana Dane? And Carol Chamberlain says, I ran into a childhood friend's niece today and asked about her uncle who I grew up with. Somebody slipped him something years ago, and now he's suffering from cancer. He's never been the same. Wow. Yeah. And it's like I was saying at the top of the show, it's like losing somebody that's still alive because you want so bad, selfishly. You selfishly want so bad for them to be the same as they was. And see, Al was, if Shell's just about 8 years older than me, Al had to be about 6 or 7 years older than me because he was a little bit younger than them, but he was up there with them. So let's say if they was in 11th grade, he was in either the 10th or the 9th. Given that he didn't flunk or nothing like that, because shit like that happened back in the day. Shout out to Pickett Middle School. Shout out to Germantown High School. Shout out to King High School. Martin Luther King High School. Shout out to that. But anyway, so, this was regular around the way Pulaski Town shit. We was up on this kind of shit. We had things going on around the corner at the in the projects where we just called it the building. And then we had the shit that went on around our way, around our corner. It was like the tale of two neighborhoods in the same neighborhood. We lived in the big houses closer to the, I guess you could say, the East Falls borderline. And they lived, everybody else lived in the smaller houses. Well, not necessarily. It was kind of weird. It was an influx of, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know where these big ass families from Germantown came from, but they all had mentally ill motherfuckers in them. How about that? I'm just keep it a buck. I'm just keep it a bean. Them big ass houses that were on my block, I don't know where these black people got this money to move in them houses. I don't know how much those houses cost back in the day or what the property values were. But I know it was nothing but white people, trees, and shit around there when my mom and them moved around there. It started changing. And you start seeing these really large black families moving in these big ass 3-story houses. They needed each one of those stories. We're talking about families, 8 kids, easy. And there was enough room for them. Damn near enough room for everybody to have their own bedroom. Damn near. Just about. So I think it was like, I was like, they must have just gave a whole grant to North Philly and South Philly and shit. And so, yeah, move up here. But anyway, but they all, one thing that seemed to be consistent throughout all those kids, one of them was rocked. At least one of them. We had one family, all of the motherfuckers. Shit, man, listen. None of the apples was falling very far from the tree. So, as kids, we grew up together. So You might have had a crazy aunt, crazy uncle, crazy brother, crazy sister, or whatever, but we was cool. And we more than likely, we knew your brothers and sisters, so we was cool with them. As we saw, like, yeah, we cool with your brother or your sister, or whatever, but that motherfucker is crazy. It's all good. It's all good till one of them start till one of them, either touch some kids on some what? I didn't know that was wrong, or just run outside naked or some shit like that. And that did happen. It does. It happens. Going outside butt ass naked dancing in the street is not just for people who smoke dust. Let me just let y'all know. But one thing is for sure, is absolutely symbolic and indicative of somebody that's crazy as fuck. But they just might be your brother, or they just might be your sister, or they just might be your favorite cousin, or they just might be your good friend. Somebody that was in your class. Right? He seemed pretty normal in class. I thought he just had a little imaginary friend. I didn't know he was going there with it. Yeah, it's tough. I got another story that we can get into later on. But yeah, man, this is a tough situation. Even if I make light of it, trust me, it's serious. And the state of our social sphere nowadays, it almost seems like we've gotten used to mental illness. It's like one of those things that we may have all felt like we were slipping into darkness at some point. But if you think that you're slipping into darkness, you all right. You're actually okay. Robin Ming says, I had a friend who wanted to be accepted in a group. In order for her to get in the group, she had to drink. She had to drink some wine. Somebody put a Molly in her wine. A Molly? They had Mollies back then? Put a Molly in her wine, and she completely lost her mind. Cal Chamberlain says, at Omar, the migration north. A lot of them was from North Philly. I was like, well, with all of y'all, what houses did y'all live at in North Philly? Not that North Philly don't have no big houses, but I'm like, well, goddamn, because they was filling up these spots. I don't know. Yeah, Robbie, that's crazy. I didn't know they had. I thought. See, I'm thinking Molly's or something new. I'm thinking these are new drugs. By the way, y'all, make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit the 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 like button. Make sure you share the show. Do that. Share the show. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Yeah. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Okay. Robbie Rob says she became homeless and died. Whenever I walk past any of the homeless on the street, I'm thinking like, I know they're all mentally ill. And I mean all of them. And you don't really believe that they're mentally ill, because we be thinking about other people that we know that burn bridges and that fuck themselves over and stuff like that. We be thinking about that homeless. That's not they are a small segment of the homeless population. Most homeless that choose to live on the streets, as opposed to a shelter. See, the shelter is fortified with motherfuckers that keep fucking up. The streets are full of mentally ill people. Cherry says, I used to know a guy who jumped up and down on shelter. Yo, I remember the boy. I know just what you talking about. I know a guy who used to jump up and down on Shelton Avenue. He lived on Green. I used to be scared of him because it always seemed that he would get close to me. His name was Gigolo. Yo, he was older than me. He died too. Gigolo. He used to be jumping up and down, dancing in front of the damn record store. It wasn't even a record store. It was a store that sold like audio, turntables and speakers and shit like that. And they would play the shit. And I bet Gigolo made them a lot of money, Cherry. I know he did. And he had this little, there's no way I'm going to be able to do it. Because he was light and he was skinny. But he was he did this hop thing. And he was pretty, he had ups. He definitely had ups. Yo, that's the 80s right there. Every day, all day, Gigolo danced and hopped in front of that store. Yo. Legends of Germantown. Rest in peace, Gigolo. But yeah, that kind of shit. Now imagine, I don't know how long Gigolo was the way he was. But evidently, Gigolo was very musically inclined. Now imagine what Gigolo was like before Gigolo became Gigolo. Because you ain't going to tell me that he was hopping up and down and dancing like that his whole life. Somebody probably slipped Gigolo a little something. And Gigolo became Gigolo. I wonder who decided to name him Gigolo. I know he didn't give himself that name. But yeah. Yeah, Carol. I know I was buffering a little bit. You know what I mean? But I know I was buffering a little bit. Carol Chambers says, we had one in Philly, in North Philly too, Cherry. He used to jump at you when you walked past him. Oh, God. It was on some old Brigantine Castle shit. On some Brigantine Castle shit. Ah! Shout out to Brigantine Castle. Brigantine Castle was dope. Any of y'all ever go to Brigantine Castle? Hey, yo, Carol, you ever go to Brigantine Castle? Did you go inside Brigantine Castle? I went inside Brigantine Castle a lot of times. I like Brigantine Castle. Brigantine Castle was pretty dope. I used to just like people, we would have family members come down or come up. My mom would take us right to Brigantine Castle. Like, yo, you gotta see this. This Brigantine Castle is crazy. It's a haunted house. Yeah, this shit's so had you bugging. People running, I'm scared. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Ah! I wasn't scared of the Brigantine Castle. I was like, they're models. See, he's standing really still right there. They're going to walk past him. He's going to jump out at him. That's the way it works. I had pictures with the actors and all of that kind of stuff. They were like, "Wow, you're really not scared of anything." Like, man, this is my fifth time in here today. I know you. Listen, I know your last name. I know where you work. I know where you. Listen. I know your little brother now. I'm gonna be at your crib when you. Don't you live in Ventnor? You live in Ventnor, right? I'll be there. Anyway. Carol Chambers says, damn it, Omar, you jinxed it. You keep buffering. I saw, it told me I was buffering. It said your connection is. Am I buffering for everybody, though? I might not be buffering for everybody. I don't know. Cal. Oh, Emily says, yes, you were. That's why I came to IG. I just thought you liked it over at IG. Who knew? Charlene, you went to Brigantine Castle. Brigantine Castle, that was the shit. It was so dope, they had to tear it down. Like, motherfuckers was having heart attacks in Brigantine Castle. But anyway, get back excuse me, getting back to the topic at hand. Yeah, being friends with somebody who is seriously mentally ill. Now, I was talking about schizophrenia before, but we can't forget about depression. And many of us have probably had bouts with depression somewhere in our lifetime. You know what I mean? And anything can trigger it, but it all boils down to a chemical imbalance. You know, we may think that we're just sad, and many of us may just be sad or frustrated with things, with the way things are going in our lives or whatever. But there's a big difference between being clinically depressed, like manic or classically depressed, where you can't dig yourself out of it. You don't even know why you feel as bad as you do. All you know is that one day is worse than the last day, and you're not looking forward to the next day because you know that it's going to be worse than this day. And a lot of people, unfortunately, many times that type of depression can lead to suicide, or it can actually be coupled with schizophrenia going unnoticed. I had a friend of mine who, see, with him, I'm pretty sure that somebody slipped him something. But what I'm not sure of is whether he was on his way. But I think something happened to my man in Chicago. I believe that when my man went to Chicago, I think he got hooked up with the wrong people because he was known to be more of a follower than a leader. I have a funny feeling he hooked up with somebody who gave him the funny stuff, because he used to sniff coke. Me and him was like this too. How can you be that close with somebody who's sniffing coke, but you don't even know that's how they're getting down? But he used to always be like, yeah, shit. You know, I got allergies, but we 20, 21, 22 years old. But yeah, he used to fuck with the powder. Of course, he ain't do that shit around me. But in the way he did it, he would go around his man who used to sniff it, but I ain't peep it. Like, they go into the other room. I guess they go in there and get right, whatever. But I'm thinking like he couldn't really afford it. But hey. So when you're the type that will try drugs like that, it ain't nothing for you to try another drug like that. And one of those drugs might take you somewhere where you can't come back from. And that's pretty much what I was dealing with my mans. And, so this is somebody that I used to drink with and that I used to smoke with when I used to smoke. I told you I smoked weed for a year. And this is the one I used to smoke with for that year. He ain't the only one, but he was definitely there a lot of those times. So when something like that doesn't happen to you, but it does happen to them. See, I didn't smoke weed no more when he started slipping into darkness, but I still drank. And what you got to understand is you can't be on drugs and stop using drugs and think that you're going to still be able to drink. You understand what I'm saying? It don't work that way. And everybody who doesn't understand their condition doesn't understand that they can't drink no more. I don't think I understood that. because I'd be at home. I'd be right here, sitting right on this couch. It was a different couch at the time, but same color, black leather couch. So I'd be sitting on the couch, and he would knock on my door out of the blue. I'm at the crib chilling, you know what I mean? Got a big ass gallon, not a gallon, half a gallon, whatever. Chardonnay. I'm in there, drinking right out the bottle. He come over. I'm like, oh, what's going on, my dude? He was like, yo, oh, what's up, man? I just came through, blah, 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 blah. Evidently, he was taking his medicine or whatever. Anyway, he come over here, he started drinking with me. I'm like, well, all right, I'm sharing. I got plenty. Saturday afternoon. Saturday afternoon, I'm over here, you know what I mean? Listening to music, watching TV, you know what I mean? Getting right. Look. At the time, me and my girl was living here. So she was at work on a Saturday. She worked on Saturdays. I'd be here. Look. He over here. Look. I'm like, all right, well, you know what I'm saying? You stay over here for a few hours or whatever. And then he went wherever he went. He wasn't homeless or no shit like that. He wasn't bummy, whatever. He was trying to get his stuff together. He had a college degree. He did finish his degree up in Chicago. He finished. He got a bachelor's degree. He was smart. Really, really, really extremely bright. Good in school. So that's why I say it's like losing somebody while they're still here. I didn't realize the severity of it. I'm like, well, he asked to drink. I didn't, I ain't forced it on him. I was drinking too. So I look back on it, I'm like, you should have stopped drinking when he came over. And if you wanted to, resume when he left. I'm like, listen, at that time, I'm thinking like, but this is my house. But looking at it in retrospect, yeah. If I was a real friend, that's what I should have done. I should have just ceased until he left and then, pick back up or whatever after he was gone. This was like 2002. So I was 32, 31, 32, something like that. So, matter of fact, 32, 33. Yeah. So it's a tough situation. So when it's a family member, you know that you're going to have other people that you can use as a resource in order to help you with this situation. But when it's a friend, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because you're going to have to evaluate, you're going to have to evaluate the value of your friendship, just keeping it a buck, just keeping it a beam. You're going to have to evaluate the strength of your friendship. Like, do you owe them your assistance? Because you're not going to be able to be in and out with this thing. You either in or you're out. It's not going to be easy. You're not going to see these easy results and shit. This is not a half an hour or an hour TV special where you start off, seeing a person this way, and by the end of the show or the end of the documentary, they're a whole different kind of way. It doesn't work that way. It takes time. And it's going to take time and effort that you are going to have to be serious about if you really want to help them out that way. It's not going to be a sprint. It's going to be a marathon. And you have to mentally and emotionally prepare yourself for that shit. I've been around crazy motherfuckers all my life. Dead serious. I've been around crazy motherfuckers all my life. I almost feel like I was sentenced. My dad, he would pair me up with crazy motherfuckers. There was a time I said to my dad, I said, man, if motherfuckers ain't stinking, dirty, talking themselves, shot out, or on drugs, it's like you don't want to have nothing to do with them. For me, you don't hang out with them, but you'll make me do it. Let's just say I've learned to appreciate life on another level. But y'all may have similar experiences. You know what I'm saying? I like to hear from y'all. If y'all want to call into the show, 319-527-6199. That's the number to call. I said a 319-527-6199. Yes, y'all, 319-527-6199. Yeah, get on the line. I said a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get your shine, baby, on. 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 Get your shine, baby. 319-527-6199, baby. So, y'all already know y'all can call into the show if y'all want to get into this thing. I might be putting something heavy on y'all. Now, y'all know, those of y'all who follow the show, which is basically y'all know I've spoken about this thing before. But sometimes we have to revisit certain topics because there are different perspectives that we look at it. Like I may have told y'all this story in the context of another topic, but I wanted to address this actual topic tonight because it's some real shit. Now, nothing happened today to trigger that, but I remember last night, Carol Chamberlain, you know me, favorita, she was talking about how somebody had got killed yesterday downtown, and well, you think about a homeless, mental illness, that type of thing, and yeah, there's more to it than meets the eye. But yeah, that's a crazy situation, and crazy situations are sometimes made up of crazy people. And to them, it's not crazy. They may feel like they're defending themselves or defending other people or defending the honor or integrity of something, holding the fort down. And this is your brother. This is your sister. This is your aunt, uncle, cousin, friend, mom, dad, grandparents. You know what I'm saying? People's parents are crazy as shit too. Have any of y'all ever went to school with somebody whose parents you suspected was batshit crazy? Charlie says they caught the guy. Yeah, they did. They caught him pretty fast too. So, but yeah, have you ever went to school with somebody or been friends with somebody from around the way whose mom and dad was off the fucking chain crazy? And have you ever known somebody who followed the footsteps of they batshit off the chain crazy parents? Honestly, you can almost see it coming. Sometimes you can see it coming. The mental illness that runs in families. Sometimes you can see it. I mean, see it. It's like, your mama was crazy. Your dad was all right, but not all right to keep you from going. And Carol says, crazy attracts crazy. Well, yeah, I would say that. There's anybody that you interact with, that you hang out with, that you keep coming in contact with, you can best believe that there's an energy, there's an energy surrounding you that sort of flips it over into that realm and attracts that same energy, that same type of person, that same Lori Smalls. Hey, is that Lori Smalls from Rhode Island? From up in Rhode Island, Providence. Could it be? Could it be? Or could it be? But yeah, man. Like, yeah, it's a situation that you really wish you could turn around. Like, and you may ask yourself, well, what can I do? Have any of you ever had to 302 somebody? 302 is the term that we use in Pennsylvania to describe a forceful, or should I say an involuntary psychological committal. Basically, is when you had to call the people on somebody. We had to call the people on him. You know, he was out in the streets, you know, waving a gun or out there waving a knife around, and you might mess around and poke one of these kids. We had to 302 him. So basically, they had to wrestle the boy to the ground and throw the straitjacket up on him, throw him in the back of the crazy wagon and take him down to get a shot of Haldol. Give him some Prozac. You're going to take this Zac, this Thorazine. You're going to take this Thorazine. Cherry says, I've been around and had family members who suffer with depression. Depression has played a part in my life. Back in the day, Black people didn't go to counseling or get help. They just went to church. That's true. And guess what? A lot of people still don't go to counseling. They go to church. But there's a little financial incentive to it now, which has a lot of people who ain't all that crazy acting crazy just to get an SSI check. But you can best believe that the process is so long before you get that crazy SSI check that you're going to be crazy for real if you ever get it. Because they're going to send you through a battery of tests and wait and check on your ass to see like, you ain't getting no quick check over here. We're going to make sure your ass is crazy. So if you've ever had to 302 somebody, you know what it's like when the mental illness gets out of hand and it seems violent and it seems dangerous when they're posing a danger to somebody else. You know, like when they might be claiming to need to call the cavalry and be peeking out the window with the rifle, like on some Malcolm X shit. Speaking of Malcolm X suffered from mental illness. People don't want to take it there because he did a lot of great things and his intentions were even greater. But Malcolm X, his mom was straight clinical, schizophrenic, batshit crazy. And his dad was murdered. I'm not sure if he witnessed it, but his dad was murdered by some racists because his dad followed Marcus Garvey movement. But a lot of the paranoia that Malcolm X was experiencing near the end of his life, people tried to write it off as, legitimate concern because of his past affiliations with the Nation of Islam. And that was legit. And, people were trying to hurt him, harm him. His home had been firebombed. But a lot of times your responses to what happens to you makes all the difference, you know what I'm saying? But I do believe that Malcolm X was, he may have had a little something. I'm not saying that he wasn't as of sound mind, because he was bright, he was brilliant, and he had a lot of love for his people, and he had a humanitarian agenda. Carol Chamberlain says, it's not heavy, it's part of life. She also says, there's always a backstory you don't know about, right? I really believe it's hereditary from a personal perspective. Ain't no way around it. It's been proven to be hereditary. But let me ask you this, Carol. Cal. Let me ask you this, though. Is acting crazy hereditary? That's what I'm going to need you to tell me. What about acting crazy? Because you got a lot of people out here who act crazy. Is that hereditary? Like, ain't nothing wrong with you, except for the fact that you an ass. Huh, Carol? Huh? I want you to think about that. Is acting crazy also hereditary? What y'all know? But yeah, you can definitely pass down certain traits of your personality to your offspring. And unfortunately, some of those things are negative. Alcoholism, drug addiction. I've always wondered if you can pass down promiscuity. I think so. From a hoe come hoes. From a trick come tricks. You ain't gonna tell me that you can do that with alcoholism, but you can't do that with other questionable or negative traits in your personality. And we're still always going to have people who say, as long as the kids don't see that, then they won't mimic it. How many people do y'all know grew up without ever knowing their parents and wind up having things or characteristics almost identical to them, like alcoholism, like drug addiction? You never saw your dad, never met your dad, never laid eyes on him, but you did hear that he had a drug or an alcohol problem, and now so do you. Coincidence? I think not. Same thing as I've known men who were rapists. And guess what happened? They had children. And guess what happened with those children? They definitely didn't see their parents rape anybody, but guess what they became? Or guess what they practiced? And I think I'm going to go out on a limb with this. And trust me, I'm not saying it to exonerate anybody, but I believe that the propensity or the proclivity to rape is a mental illness. because you're in search of power. Why would you have to seek out that type of power? Hmm. Well, that's where we are with it. New video. Lizzo gets embarrassed after trying to shoot her shot at actor Chris Evans and being rejected. Come on, Lizzo. Come on, Lizzo. I hope that was just clickbait. I really hope that was just clickbait. Is Lizzo mentally ill for trying to take off her clothes and make a statement? Is she? Is she? Well, we may never know. But then again, we may find out later on. We may find out later on. But yeah, man, you know, being friends with somebody who is truly mentally ill, it's going to hurt your feelings. You're going to shed tears over that shit because it's just like I said, it's like losing somebody who's still alive. You want so bad for them to get back to where they were, what they could do. It's almost like dealing with somebody that was in a really tragic car accident or something like that, but they used to have this great voice and it fucked up their ability to sing. They used to have this really great ability to play the piano, but now they can't do it anymore. They lost their arms or their hands, you know, something. It's like that kind of shit. And they want to be back to where they were before too. But they kind of have accepted that they ain't getting back there and they're not going back there. But you haven't. You selfishly want them to be great again. And if you're going to be selfish in an area, hopefully for the benefit of somebody else, that's how you would choose to be selfish. It's tough. I mean, it's tough like Chuck Steak. Shout out to Chuck Steak. Shout out to Sirloin. Shout out to London Broil. Shout out to Ribeye. Shout out to Prime Rib. You know, I read somewhere or heard somewhere that prime rib is not real beef. Let me see. Let me catch up with that shit. Hold on, let me see. Is prime rib real beef?
I have pulled up a selection of shopping products for you.
I guess they're going to go with yes. I like the prime rib with the bone in. Okay. All right. What's the difference between prime rib and roast beef? While both prime rib and roast beef are made from beef, they differ in terms of specific beef cut and that they are derived from, as well as the pricing and tenderness. While prime cut refers to the beef cut from the export rib, roast beef is the beef that has been roasted and can be made from different types of. Okay. Yeah. Somebody had told me that prime rib is processed beef and it's not like it ain't rare. I'm like, nah, give me the one with the bone in. I'm not bullshitting either. I don't really like cuts of beef that are boneless. Like, no. Give me the motherfucking bone. I want to be able to identify the bone. So whenever I order prime rib at a restaurant, I'd be like, y'all got the bone in kind? They'd be like, yes, sir. I'd be like, all right, give me that shit. If I'm a do my digestive system dirty, I'm gonna do it pretty. All right, y'all, let's do these birthday shout outs. And let's keep it moving. Oh boy. Make sure y'all oh boy. Pray for our sister Saida Coldbreath Kareem. Oh boy. Yeah. It looks like. Yeah, pray for our sister Saida Coldbreath Kareem. We're just gonna leave it at that. Those of y'all who know her know that she's good people. Hey, Rip the Bandage. What's going on, Rip the Bandage? Always good to see you. Like I said, we gotta get you on the show, man. Gotta get you on here. All right. Let's do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious April 21st, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box, LaDawn. No, I'm sorry, LaDawn. By the way, it's the first day of Taurus. All the bulls stand up. This is going to be a crazy one. Literally. All right, y'all. LaDawn Carter turning 44 years old today. Bow, 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 bow. Yeah. What up now, LaDawn? And also Alfani Reyes turning 24 years old today. Happy birthday, youngin'. And lovely DG turning 42 years old today. And Uni Lugo Corp turning 29 years old today. And also Mbaye in Aye. Happy birthday to you. And my girl going all the way back to the 1978, turning 51 years old today. My girl Melissa Graham. Yeah, Melissa Graham. And last but not least, my baby cuz, my young cuz, Kerry James Jr. turning 43 years old today. Happy birthday. Hey. I want to say happy birthday to all of you and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious April 21st, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up, but don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. A rock out, a rock on, and do the damn, to rock out, rock on, and do the damn, rock out, rock on, and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind, and anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, listen, like I said, it's like losing a friend that is still here, dealing with this mental illness thing, man. You know what I mean? So, you know, on the positive side, there are things that you can do, and the most things that you can do is be supportive. Utilize your resources. Do the things for them that they can't or won't think to do for themselves. Read more. Find out things. Research. Find out what services are available to them. Encourage them. You know, be sympathetic or at least apathetic to their situation. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not being able to do for them as you would want somebody to do for you. You're going to have to relieve yourself of any culpability or guilt, unless, of course, you was the one that slipped them a Mickey in the first place. In that case, you's a no good rat bastard, and there's going to be a special place in hell for you. But maybe you were just playing a trick on them, and sometimes the best laid plans go awry. You was just trying to get a little laugh, but lacing somebody's weed or whatever is not funny. That's not a funny thing to do. Watching somebody trip. I mean, what kind of sick sense of humor do you have when you want to watch somebody trip out? And and I know that there are plenty of people out here who like to see just that bullshit. Tomorrow, we will be back here for Throwback Thursday. Let's get real about relationships. So make sure y'all come back here tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. What's up, my big sis, Medina Coleman? Darby is all up in the house. What's going on, my first love right there. Love you to death, resuscitation, and love you right back to life. Oh yeah, and the rest of y'all, and the rest of y'all. What's going on, Kim from Uptown? Kim Uptown. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all. I love y'all back to life. So, all right, hold on. Let me get Blog Talk on the body here. Oh, Blog Talk. I'll get back. Peace. Okay, the peace.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm. And on the Instagram side, see y'all tomorrow with Pride. Peace. Oh, yeah. And for my YouTubers, y'all know how we doobers. Make sure y'all share the show. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, love is love, baby. And I get with y'all tomorrow. We in the middle of the week. We stream rolling to the end. Archie.